All right, here we go. So this, of course, is the NASW Code of Ethics, and like we talked about, I'm reading it to you. So we're going to start with 4.04, and we're going to progress all the way to 4.08. Now you, of course, are welcome to read this on your own. You do not have to watch this video, and maybe you will prefer not to watch the video. But just in case you want to listen to the video while you do other stuff, you have this opportunity. So here you go, 4.04, dishonesty, fraud, and deception. Social workers should not participate in, condone, or be associated with dishonesty, fraud, or deception. That seems pretty straightforward. There's a reason it's here. So just make sure you're not doing fraud, you're not doing dishonesty, you're not deceiving people, because at the end of the day, if who's going to go to jail? Your client for something they've done, not you, because you're not doing things that are illegal or unethical. Let's move on to 4.05, impairment. Social workers, this is A, 4.05A, social workers should not allow their own personal problems, psychosocial distress, legal problems, substance abuse, or mental health difficulties to interfere with their professional judgment and performance, or to jeopardize the best interests of people for whom they have a professional responsibility. Remember how we talked before earlier on about being aware of the impairment of colleagues? Do you remember that? Well, you have a duty to help your colleagues, but you also have a duty to be aware of your own impairment. You need to be aware of things that can interfere with your professional judgment, that can interfere with your practice effectiveness. And you need to make sure and take steps to ensure that you're not jeopardizing the best interests of your clients, of the people you have a professional responsibility for. B, 4.05B. Social workers whose personal problems, psychosocial distress, legal problems, substance abuse, or mental health difficulties interfere with their professional judgment and performance should immediately seek consultation and take appropriate remedial action by seeking professional help, making adjustments in workload, terminating practice, or taking any other steps necessary to protect clients and others. That's 4.05B. So you have an affirmative duty. You have to be aware of these things and take steps to make sure everybody's taken care of. This is something you'll want to talk to your supervisor about. This is something you want to talk to if it's in school, if it's during school. Talk to the field directors. Talk to Alan, the enforcer, and Mackenzie Heidel, the associate field director. Alan, again, I call him the enforcer. He's the field director. So in your career right now, make sure you talk to them about stuff going on. If it's going on, talk to your supervisor as well. Social workers that get in trouble because of impairment are the ones that are not taking any steps, that are letting things slide, and that cause problems for the people they are professionally responsible for. Don't be one of those social workers. Be aware of that, okay? 4.06, misrepresentation. A, social workers should make clear distinctions between statements made and actions engaged in as a private individual and as a representative of the social work profession, a professional social work organization, or the social worker's employing agency. So you do have a right as a social worker, as a private citizen, to have your own opinions. But you need to be careful that those opinions don't appear to represent what social workers think or the profession in general. Does that make sense? Okay? Or your agency, those kinds of things. Just be aware of that. We're now on B. Social workers who speak, this is 4.06B, social workers who speak on behalf of professional social work organizations should accurately represent the official and authorized positions of the organizations. Seems pretty straightforward, but you need to be sure that you are accurately representing official authorized positions and not just going off on your own opinions. So be aware of that. C. Social workers should ensure that their representations to clients, agencies, and the public of professional qualifications of they should have their there, I don't know why they don't, of professional qualifications, credentials, education, competence, affiliations, services provided, or results to be achieved are accurate. Social workers should claim only those relevant professional credentials they actually possess and take steps to correct any inaccuracies or misrepresentations of their credentials by others. Right now, you're a social work student. You're going to be a social work intern. Make sure people are aware that you're an intern. There's nothing wrong with being an intern. Everybody has to be an intern at some point if they want to be licensed. So just make sure you are clear about your credentials. Don't. Some people get caught up in trying to puff up their credentials. I don't know why. That gets you in trouble. Don't do it. I'm going to scroll up now, or down rather, I guess, to, we're almost done, 4.07 and 4.08. So 4.07A. 4.07, of course, is solicitations. A. Social workers should not engage in uninvited solicitation of potential clients who, because of their circumstances, are vulnerable to undue influence, manipulation, or coercion. Undue influence, manipulation, or coercion. Listen, sometimes you may be in a private practice. You're in a private practice, you have to get business. You have to get clients. So does this mean you can't advertise? You can't get clients? No. You have to be careful of exploiting people who are vulnerable to undue influence, manipulation, or coercion. The idea is you got to protect the clients, right? They need help, but you got to protect them, and you can't just start exploiting people for your own end. Really, that's how I look at that. That's how I'm reading that. That's what makes sense here. B. Social workers, this is again 4.07B. Social workers should not engage in solicitation of testimonial endorsements, including solicitation of consent to use a client's prior statement as a testimonial endorsement from current clients or from other people who, because of their particular circumstances, are vulnerable to undue influence. Again, you can't be exploiting your clients. Now, do you want to have testimonial endorsements? Well, it says you can't have that from current clients or other vulnerable people. Something to be aware of. Again, this is related to the business of social work. There's always a business side to these things, okay? 4.08, acknowledging credit. Social workers should take responsibility and credit, including authorship credit, only for work they have actually performed and to which they have contributed. That seems pretty straightforward. There you go. And B, social workers should honestly acknowledge the work of and the contributions made by others. I think that's also pretty straightforward. Just acknowledge credit. That's really all there is to it. So that's it, scholars. We have looked at 4.04 to 4.08. I don't think you have questions, but maybe you do. If you have specific questions, you're just burning to have those answered, please email them to me in Canvas under our class tab, and I will be happy to answer them. Or you're welcome to come see me during office hours. Okay, scholars, that's it. We've covered 4.04 to 4.08. We're now done with section 4. Good job.